The views
This
and
show is
opinions
produced by
expressed by the
Cutprint
hosts do
Podcast
not
Network.
state or reflect
Executive
those of the
producer
company
Patsy
and its
Ferrer.
management.
Head of Business
Any
Development
assumptions,
Cleo
views, and
Carpio,
insinuations
Creative
made by the
Director Christine
hosts or
Anido,
guests do not
Podcast
reflect
and
those
Social
of the
Media
show,
Manager
the
Mia
management,
Escondo,
and the network.
Sound Engineer
Listener
Erica Santo
discretion
Tomas.
is advised.
To advertise,
Warning.
email us at
This podcast contains
podcast@cutprintproductions.com.
spoilers.
Third World Cinema Club.
Taking of photographs or video and audio recording is strictly prohibited inside the theater. Mahigpit pong ipinagbabawal ang paggamit ng kamera o anumang uri ng video at audio recording equipment sa loob ng tanghalan.
Hello guys, welcome to Third World Cinema Club. This is a continuation of our Cinemalaya coverage. I'm John Tawasil from Present Confusion.
Hi, I'm Princess Kinok of Film Police Reviews.
Hello, I'm DJ from reversedelay.net.
Hi, I'm Jim of Jimmy Licolat Iba Pa.
I'm Gilbert Rafferty of Film Police Reviews.
3 special premieres for Cinemalaya. The first one we'll talk about is Basurero. So, Basurero, who is the titular Basurero, who's played by Jericho Rosales. He's yung basurang tinatapon niya sa dagat ay mga katawan. Wow. So relevant sa drug war. Tapos one day he finds out that his neighbor was killed. And pinapakita din kasi nito na kaya sila gumagawa ng ganitong trabaho, which is morally kumbaga repugnant ganun. Ay dahil wala silang choice eh. Number one, mahirap sila. Pangalawa, wala silang other opportunities in life. Wala silang economic opportunities. Yung ina-applyan ni Jericho Rosales na pang-abroad, magbabayad ka pa ng 3,000 pesos na fee para lang alam mo yun. Tapos hindi pa guaranteed na makakaalis ka. So, yun eh. Yun yung problema talaga ng mga ibang tao. Parang capitalism, kumbaga, is limiting their options. And in an unjust society, kung ano talaga yung gagawin mo. Yan. What are your thoughts on Basurero, guys? Ses, nakita mo bang Basurero? Nakita mo ba?
Yes.
What did you think?
I think 2019 siya na film. I'm not sure. Parang hinanap ko kasi kung this year ba talaga siya ni-release. Ganyan. Pero anyways, very synonymous siya dun sa universe na tinatry i-create ng Aswang and ng A Thousand Cuts. Pero in a way, ito, ibang version naman, parang ibang consequence nung EJK, or extrajudicial killings. So yun. So as usual, very good performance kay Jericho Rosales. Yun nga lang dito, parang mukha talaga siyang basurero, mukha talaga siyang fisherman kasi talagang mangingisda talaga siya na hinahire lang para magtapon ng basura. Quote-unquote. Yes. So yun. And ayun, dito mo makikita yung predicament ng lahat ng Pilipino or siguro ng lower class na involved sa EJK na they have no choice. They are under orders to do that. And yun nga, kasama sila and yung neighbor niya, consequence lang siya ng fact na may drug war sa Pilipinas. At kahit sino, hindi niya kayang isolve ito.
Ayun. DJ, your thoughts on Basurero?
I think yung pinaka-notable dito for me is yung performance ni Jericho Rosales. May question ako dito, parang since hindi ako familiar sa career ni Jericho, parang against type ba yung casting niya dito?
Jim, can you shed any light on lalo na sa mga past roles niya? Ganyan ba yung mga roles ni Jericho? Tingin ko.
Sorry kasi di ko napanood yung Basurero na ang immune na panood.
Ang alam ko lang,
Parang
si
hindi-
Jericho, meron talaga silang may experience siya sa pangingisda kasi
Okay.
yung mama niya ay may pwesto sa palengke, gano'n.
Mm-mm.
So,
Pero yung,
in
I mean,
terms of career,
His rules, mga rules niya.
pero in terms of yung parang medyo gritty, medyo dark yung role niya dito eh. Kasi,
Oo nga.
di ba usually parang pang rom-com siya or I'm not sure, baka limited lang yung perspective ko.
Rin, for me, sa Tanging Yaman ba yun? Medyo,
Nasaan na ba siya, The Janitor?
Ano ha? Wala siya sa The Janitor.
Alagwa.
Alagwa sa Red.
Ayun.
Alagwa. Yeah.
Yung Red na panood ko. I mean, pero iba kasi yung dating ng Red eh. Iba, hindi siya, para siyang street smart, doon eh. Operator type character, di ba? Sa Red. Pero di...
Nasa rom-com, kahit sa Forevermore, medyo siya doon. Halata mong
Walang
oppressed.
forever. Hindi forevermore.
Ay, Forevermore ba yun? Hindi! Forevermore, sila ni Christina Hermosa.
Ay, nga pala, sorry. Meron nga pala silang film na
Mangga.
forevermore. Diba? Kasi may forever
meron.
kasi.
Forevermore.
May-
Oppressed din siya doon.
Yun. In addition dun sa performance ni Jericho, yung themes naman niya, parang malinaw naman na parang, I mean, marami nang nasabi dito and na-discuss na nga siya dun sa mga docus. Pero still, parang worthwhile pa rin na, pwede maging full-length tong short film na to eh. Parang there's enough to be discussed dun. Mag-zero in lang ako. May isa akong detail na napansin. Yung nung naliligo si Jericho, may pinakitang scars sa likod niya. So I'm not sure if parang if that's just hinting at something. Unless may scars talaga si Jericho Rosales sa likod niya. So parang bakit? Ba't siya may mga ganong teklat sa likod niya?
Pwede rin kasi pag hindi niya ginawa yung trabaho, gugulpihin siya, gano'n. Yun yung dating sa akin. Kasi nga, parang, kaya interesting siya kasi usually, di ba, ang hina-highlight sa ganito is yung pamilya ng biktima or yung police, ganyan. Dito, hindi mo, parang first time kong makakita ng subject about dun sa pag-dispose ng bodies. So, yun. Feeling ko, pag hindi niya nagagawa yung orders, ginugulpi muna siya, tapos saka siya kumapaya. Ganun. Kasi, kita mo yun na parang he's trying to get out of that box na, na he was put into because wala siyang choice.
Ayan. Okay. Sino pa? Rafi? Your thoughts on Basurero? Kung meron?
Para siyang fusion between yung nakalimutan ko yung pangalan ng director, Sean Ellis ata, yung Metro Manila. Tsaka I have to mention this, yung Kinatay ni Brillante. Very gripping yung approach niya to the filming. And at the same time pala, watch list, yung kay Alessandro De Rossi. Ganun yung naging, feel niya towards the whole film. And it managed to do that in 17 minutes. Whereas these films, it took more than an hour to get that atmospheric tension comes across. That's very laudable for the director to do that. And I agree with Kuya DJ, napakagaling ni Jericho Rosales. I think for me, yung best performance niya is sa Alagwa. But then again, iba kasi yung approach niya sa Alagwa. More on tatay-tatay siya dun eh. Dito talagang talagang medyo gripping, very, very neorealistic yung pag-portray niya dun sa character niya. At the same time, sobrang nakakatakot siya. Finally, towards the whole film, yun yung nagstay na emotion sa akin. I was watching it and I was just so scared.
Parang dread no? Dread.
Tsaka, it's also a critique about how the government manipulates the poor in terms of using power and using money as a way for them to to get them to do what they want. And in this case, yun nga, the killings. Nabilib ako. I know that many people found it on the nose. Parang masyado daw
garapal na. Yung
obvious yung mga nangyayari.
Okay lang yun.
Reality to eh.
Parang if you can make the presentation tense, kasi may tension ka nararamdaman sa pelikula eh. It's okay, at least in my view. Do you think it works better in this short form, or would it work better as a full length?
Sa akin as a short, kung kasama siya sa full length, siguro parang segment siya, parang ganun, ng isang film, isang big film.
Kumbaga anthology siya.
Anthology,
tapos,
yeah.
Okay. So, on that note, let's go to the next film, Nang M, directed by Suzette Ranillo. Suzette Ranillo this is I think her second film after PPP 2019's Pagbalik. And Nang M is based on a true story allegedly about this grandmother who is left alone and she's taken care of by a very kindly neighbor. Ayun. During the pandemic. Ako, just like Pagbalik, it's very shoddily made. May black and white siya. Hindi siya parang hindi siya polished. It doesn't look polished. The tone is all over the place. Minsan nakakatawa, minsan it's very serious, pero the jumps in tone are very jarring. And pati yung font na ginagamit nila for the transitions, parang ang cheap ng itsura. But, yun namang consolation doon is Gloria Sevilla delivers a very excellent performance as the titular ng M. Na, although hindi talaga ganun kaganda yung pelikula, nadala ni Gloria Sevilla. Ganun siyang ka-powerful sa akin. Anyway, any thoughts on Nang M? Siguro Jim, ikaw muna. Since you've seen this film. What did you think about this film?
Ako, I agree din dun sa sinabi mo na hindi siya polish. Tapos, agree din na si Gloria Sevilla talaga yung nagdala. Actually, siya yung nagbuhat nung pelikula.
Literal na
Oo,
carry,
diba?
No?
Dalang binuhat niya yung pelikula. Ganun eh. Ang hanga ko kay Gloria Sevilla kasi yung mga napapanood natin na stories regarding pandemic ay yung mga sumisikat ngayon ng mga web series, no? So nandiyan yung Game Boys, yung mga Hello Stranger, Love Lockdown, and then Small Talks on PBA, diba? So dito parang ang tanong ko dito was that na-concern ako because matanda na si Gloria Sevilla. Ganon. So mayroon bang pinalo na protocol or health protocol? I believe naman meron during the shoot, ganon. And ang maganda doon, game si Gloria Sevilla doon sa pagganap o doon sa role na binigay sa kanya. Tapos, ang nakita ko pang diniscuss dito sa pelikula ay yung melancholy ng isang matanda na naiwang mag-isa, di ba? So,
tapos na-amplify pa no? Dahil quarantine.
Tama yon. And kumbaga on my end, ang nasa isip ko, ako nga na mag-isa lang na younger years pa, di ba? Nandun na yung lungkot, pwedeng umaalo na yung depression, stress, whatever. Paano pa kaya sa matanda or sa mga geriatric na or senior natin, di ba? So I think yun naman yung magandang napakita dun sa pelikula. Yeah. Which talaga namang binuhat ni Gloria Sevilla yung pelikula. Yun lang.
Okay, any other thoughts about Nang M? DJ, thoughts on Nang M kung napanood mo?
In addition dun sa mga nasabi niya, naisip ko lang na for a very straightforward story, biglang medyo open-ended or vague yung ending.
True.
Or ako lang ba yung hindi nakagets? Pero di ba, it's supposed to be may pagka-cliffhanger.
May Kasi, well, tuloy pa rin naman ang quarantine, so.
Sa bagay.
The story continues. Ganun.
Pwede mo kasing isipin na iniisip lang ba ni Nang M na bumalik na or talagang bumalik na yung katulong niya, 'di ba? Saka yun yung maganda dun sa ano yung Nang M na siguro yun yung maganda na rin nakita ko sa pelikula kasi bihira tayo or siguro yan lang so far yung nakita kong short film or pelikula na matanda yung bida kasi usually younger.
Yeah.
Ayun nga, 'di ba? Yung mga BL series kasi na nag-emerge ngayon. Yun yung ano natin.
Yung mga quarantine-based series and
yes.
Young leads.
So, yun.
Okay. Rafi, did you see Nang M? What did you think about it?
So, nasabi naman na rin kasi lahat about Nang M. Pero gusto ko nang sabihin na sobrang bilib na bilib ako kay Gloria Sevilla as an actress. Yeah. Kasi imagine, she's been doing it since the 50s? And she's one of the oldest actresses that we have in our country. And she's managed to even with such a script, that's faulty to a high degree or to a high extent, na-carry niya yung film eh. That just shows how versatile and how talented of an actress Gloria Sevilla is. And if ever magkaroon man siya ng more projects in the future, sana many people would further recognize that the queen of Visayan cinema is here to stay.
Yes. Kumbaga sa Mobile Legends, si Gloria Sevilla yung carry. Yan, konti lang makakaguess nun.
Yes.
Charet. Anyway, sige. General Lezal by Chuck Gutierrez. This is based on a stage play, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. By
Flor Kibayan.
Si Flor Kibayan. It's about General Rizal refers to Pasiano Rizal, Jose Rizal's brother, who laments at the state of the country following Jose Rizal's death. And it's a call to the Filipino people to walk in the steps of Rizal. Ganon. It's part history lesson, it's part, may pagka-polemic character siya for me ng konti. Pero at the end, inspiring naman in the sense na you don't need parang patay man si Rizal, parang his ideas of national pride, parang nationalism, and not necessarily dying for your country, but living for your country, ganun na lang, is very important. At in fairness, nakapag-insert sila ng footage habang ongoing yung parang protesta sa UP Diliman, yung Manyanita protest. So, it's a nice touch. Talagang, it's a product of the quarantine talaga. Kaya, na-appreciate ko naman siya. Yan.
Si Pasiano naka-zoom.
Naka-zoom si Pasiano. May zoom. 1800 zoom. Ganun. Yeah. Anyway, sige Ses, ikaw, your thoughts on General Rizal?
Very product nga siya ng quarantine era in the sense na nagmonologue si Pasiano, and since everyone nga is not allowed to go out and watch a stage play, so it's a very good interpretation of the play being done at home, in front of a screen, and ang galing ng pagkakagawa niya kasi kahit may ganung limitations na we can't really physically see him on stage, pero yung presence ni sino yung gumanap?
Nanding
ayun,
Joseph.
Si Nanding Joseph. Yes, Nanding Joseph was very good, very convincing, very good yung dialogue, yung the way that he pronunciates the dialogue. Parang feeling mo talaga he was born during that era. And very good din yung animation. As usual, syempre since si Sir Chuck is very well known for his editing skills, ang ganda ng pagkaka-edit. And very brave din na they were able to put out an actor na walang face mask. Pero apparently may face mask pala siya nun. Clear lang.
Yeah.
During the protest. So yun. So it's a very good way to be able to put out a history lesson na maraming makaka-relate, especially during this era. And it's good na ginawa nila as a short film kasi syempre nga nowadays yung attention span ng tao is very short. So yun.
Okay. DJ, your thoughts on General Rizal?
It's very moving. I'm not sure if it's the delivery or it's the message, pero dama ko parang it delivered the goosebumps for me. May isa lang akong nitpick doon kasi parang this is another one of those historical, parang history-related stories na pinagtitripan na naman si Aguinaldo. Na parang kasi, well, at this point, parang nagda-doubt na ako. Ganun ba talaga kasama si Aguinaldo? Pero, in particular, itong short film, it conveniently, parang when it made the point na napanalunan natin yung revolution, it conveniently skips the fact na si Aguinaldo yung nagpanalo ng revolution in the first place eh. Parang without General Aguinaldo, hindi naman tayo aabot dun sa point na may aagawin mga Amerikano sa atin eh. So parang, okay, sige.
Pero,
unfair lang.
Ay, sa ibang araw na lang. Basta may naalala lang ako sa history lesson nung sa Revolution, pero ibang araw na lang.
Saka hindi naman din ako ganun ka well-read sa time na yun. So baka may point naman pala talaga sila. I'll reconsider thanks to this film.
Ayan. So, how about you, Jim? Ikaw naman, your thoughts on General Rizal? Kung meron man. Jim?
Sorry, di ko napanood.
Okay. Sige. Rafi, ikaw naman.
Ayun, ang resonant ng message ng General Rizal up until this very date. Kasi, come on guys, lagi pa rin tayong talo eh. I mean, we've been fighting so many wars, whether it be, a war between the colonizers, a war between our fellow Filipinos since day one. And until now, yan pa rin na nangyayari sa atin sa bansa natin. And know that this is coming off as parang, tawag dito, parang call to arms, charot. Parang, parang ano naman, it's about politics again, but then again, everything is political eh. Diba? I have to mention that. So in my opinion, napaka-powerful ng General Rizal, especially nung mga times na nagbe-break ng fourth wall si Pasiano. Yung message niya ay napaka reflective of the times. I know gamit na yan, term na yan, pero wala, totoo eh. Until now, we have this ongoing war streets, the pandemic, and at the same time, the what's, been happening in our society. Make of that what you will. And everyone is still forced to rally, to there's this desire to go out in the streets but cannot. So, we resort to virtual rallies through Facebook or through Twitter or whatever. And wala eh. What exactly is happening? Hindi pa rin tayo nananalo. Oppressed pa rin tayo. We are still feeling a lot of social injustices. So yun, napakagaling ni Chuck Gutierrez for managing to cram those ideas within, 20-something minutes. And, supported by an actor that is as talented and as prolific as Nanding Josef. Wala eh. He did that. They did that. Yan. Ganyan.
I think part of the power comes from a kind of misdirection eh. Kasi ang galing na sa simula, okay, kausap niya si Rizal. Okay, history lesson. Maya-maya magugulat ka na lang, si Rizal pala metaphor for me, for us, na kabataan pala. Parang bigla lang sinasabi, pinag-aral kitang bata ka. Ako pala yun. Sorry po, Lolo. Okay, ayusin ko na po. Ganun.
Okay. So, let's go on to our last two films. They're both documentaries. The first one is Elehia sa Paglimot, ng Paglimot. It's by Tops Brogada, and it chronicles his relationship and the last days of his father, who developed dementia and finally succumbed to semi-related illness later in his life. So it's about memories then, forgetting, remembering a loved one, also the process of grieving, and it's a very personal film talaga, which is fitting, I guess. I think this is Tops Brogada's first feature, although I think he's worked before in yung mga news and public affairs. I think he's worked before sa mga ganong klaseng programs.
Yes, nag-work siya sa public affairs.
Yeah, so may experience siya making documentaries like this.
Yes.
Although this is really a very, very personal film. Dama mo yun dun sa pagkagawa niya. So I guess, Jim, would you care to tell us a bit about what you thought about this film?
I'm sorry kasi di ko siya natapos dahil nung pinapanood ko siya, nag-expire yung access ko dun sa sa tawag dito dun sa Cinemalaya. So, ang naabutan ko, I think, mga 20 minutes ata ng film.
Okay.
So, for me, it's an emotional film. Talagang, naman when it comes to mga films or documentary about fatherhood or father, talagang it hits home ganun. And ang based on its title, 'di ba, Elihiya ng Paglimot, nakakalungkot lalo kapag yung malapit sa buhay mo, ganun, or immediate family mo, yan, tatay mo ay yun nga, nagsuccumb sa Alzheimer's disease, di ba? So, usually pag napapanood lang natin siya sa pelikula, like Tanging Yaman, but if it's based on a real life story, talaga namang nakakaiyak, di ba? Kasi actually dun sa story, nakaka-relate ako because si Tops Brogada kasi I think late na yung parents niya ay tawag dito, na-conceive siya, ganun. So, yung tatay niya 60 na and then siya nasa 20. So, we have the same situation kasi yung tatay ko rin buhay pa. Nasa 70 na, ako ay nasa 20. So, talagang hindi nagkakalayo, ganun. So, I can relate naman doon. However, iba rin naman yung situation ni tatay. On his situation, ang sakit lang kasi siya yung unang nakalimutan, 'di ba, nung tatay. Kasi nga ang layo ng agwat nung nung pag-conceive sa kanya, gano'n. So, yun lang kasi hindi ko siya natapos, I'm sorry. Yun lang yung masasabi ko. Talagang it's an emotional film. Yun.
DJ, have you watched Elihiya sa Paglimot?
No. Isang full-length docu lang yung kaya kong panoorin. Tapos, I guess, kaya ako iniwasan to kasi alam ko mabigat talaga yung niya.
Yeah, okay. Rafi, your thoughts on Elihiya if you've seen it?
I don't have any personal experiences with Alzheimer's, with people with Alzheimer's disease. But I did have an experience that's somewhat similar. Kaya napaka personal sa akin yung film. Since I probably mentioned this before in the previous recordings, I can't remember, but I had a grandmother who had a bilateral brain stroke when I was in second year in high school. Tapos, 2 years siyang paralyzed. Nandun lang siya, may hospital bed kami sa bahay noon. Tapos yung may eggshell mat. Tapos, although pini-physical therapy siya araw-araw, alam mo yun, yung hindi na siya nakakapagsalita nag-twist na yung dila niya, nagkaroon ng point where naka-NGT lang siya, yung tubo sa, so yung kinakain niya blended, ganyan. And at the time, I was a kid. Although I knew, I had an idea of what right and wrong is, of what good and bad is. Parang at the time, parang hindi ko siya napaprocess. Until nung tumanda ako, tapos naaalala ko yun every time. That those moments were reflective in Elihiya sa Paglimot. Naalala ko lahat ng suffering na kanilang experience ng lola ko. We had to go through so much at the time. Napaka-poetic ng pelikula. I think that is the most powerful thing that I noticed with Elihiya. It's so poetic and at the same time, it brings up the importance of family, of relationships, of memory. Kasi with memory, I think that's one of the many things that make up our personality, probably half, if not 3/4 of our whole identity. And pag nawala mo yun, parang what's left of you? It's like you're an empty vessel na manage na
capture.
I-capture ni Tops yun. And may times na nagka-crack yung boses ni Tops, the way he narrates the film. So, you can't help but feel emotional with him. Especially for those who have experienced a similar situation. I can only imagine, for those who have family members with Alzheimer's disease, how hard it was for them to see their loved ones, memories deteriorate every day.
Okay. So yun, that's a good encapsulation of what the film's trying to say. Let's go on. We have like 7 minutes left. Let's go to the last film, Overseas. This was directed by a Korean director, but it chronicles the lives of several aspiring overseas workers as they train for a possibly hard life abroad, and they share the experiences with each other. If you haven't read it yet, my favorite review of this film is by Kaj Palangka. It's on Letterboxd. Harapin nyo na lang. It references a very nice book about how domestic workers are parang part of capital na binibigay ng bansa natin to other places, and may parang may gender, or not necessarily sexualized, I don't agree with the term, pero more parang females, mga domestic helpers, pag males naman, more manual types of labor. I guess yun yung gusto niyang pasabi. Pero yeah, it's a very illuminating review of the film. And makikita mo talaga, these are people that they're training for the worst. You see na parang yung pag-send natin ng mga ganito overseas, it's just slavery with extra steps talaga minsan. Although you will get your share of very kind employers na they treat their parang workers as humans, there will always be one or two bad apples talaga that parang they still cling on to parang old-fashioned beliefs that these are yung parang servants in more than one meaning of the word. Kaya I like that this film is trying to humanize yung that part of the film na medyo if you do it wrong, parang dehumanizing yung effect. Pero ang ganda ng pagkalabas niya. So it's probably my favorite film sa buong Cinemalaya lineup this year. Any thoughts from you guys about Overseas? Yan. Rafi, ko muna. Any thoughts?
Ngayon, same din with sa'yo, Doc. I think si Kaj Palangka, he was able to capture the whole essence of Overseas, and just with a very, very short review about it. For me, I will not try to be personal about it because I also have a personal experience. But I will say na, the whole treatment that the government has done with our overseas Filipino workers, I think that really needs to be assessed by not just siguro by filmmakers, but many of the people here in our country. Kasi we do not realize this because probably because many of us have privileges or whatever to some people, but we don't realize na yung mga OFWs, they're being failed by us fellow Filipinos kasi they have to work abroad. They're forced to work overseas just so that they can provide a living out of themselves, for themselves and for their families. And hindi naman talaga dapat ganon. And to think na yung towards the end, yung tawag dito, yung hindi ko alam kung government office yon or whatever, basta yung like
parang POEA yun eh. Yung piles of paperwork, di ba?
Exactly.
Yeah, they were reduced to parang these are all people that they're trying to leave the country.
And yung volume ng paper na yun,
Oh, sobrang laki. Ang dami talaga. Yun.
So, siya, hindi lang siya study about our overseas Filipino workers, but at the same time, the state of employment that we have in the Philippines. Gaano ba karami sa atin ng unemployed? What is the cause of this unemployment? Kumbaga, ang daming binibring up na pelikula.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be sending people overseas if we had a robust parang economy and opportunities for employment for everyone. So this is a systemic failure din ng Pilipinas itself. Parang indirectly, yun yung sinasabi din ng pelikula. Ayun.
And it managed to do that in such a short period of time. I mean, even though the filmmaker wasn't tawag dito Filipino kasi ang alam ko Korean French siya, something like that. Pero galing niya.
Ayan. DJ, your thoughts on the film? We have 2.5 minutes left.
As you've said, there's a lot to unpack about the themes of this film. It's a national issue kaya sobrang systemic niya, sobrang daming anggulong pwedeng tingnan. So magfo-focus lang muna ako dun sa the way it's presented, the visuals. Pansin ko na the camera is often orthogonal yung angles niya, meaning parang nakakahon sila.
Yes.
So parang nakadiorama sila palagi. And adding to that effect is yung lighting. Sobrang soft nung lighting. So I'm sure na hindi yun yung natural lighting dun sa places na pinakita dun sa pelikula. So weird parang nakapresent sila na this is what we are. Ito yung parang factory of quote-unquote ng domestic workers natin. And in that way, parang na-emphasize yung pagiging dehumanizing nung profession nila. But at the same time, nandun yung other aspect na binabalance na at least we're trying to professionalize what we can. Parang we do what we can given na ito yung systemic issue na hindi natin masasolve anytime soon.
Yeah. Yun. So I guess that ends our coverage for the Cinemalaya films for 2020. We look forward to seeing you all again next year. Pero of course, there will be lots of episodes of Third World Cinema Club in between that. So until next time, wow, from all of us to all of you, Cheret.
Yeah.
We'll see you until the next episode. Yan. Bye-bye.
Bye. Stay safe, guys.
Stay safe.
Stay negative.
Stay sane.
This show is produced by Cutprint Podcast Network. Executive producer Patsy Ferrer. Head of Business Development KL Carpio. Creative Director Christine Alido. Podcast and Social Media Manager Mia Escondo. Sound Engineer Erica Santa Tomas. To advertise, email us at podcast@cutprintproductions.com.
Third World Cinema Club.